Good afternoon, everyone. I have a major breaking news report, okay? And I'm going to lay this out. It took me a little bit for those of you that were waiting on the stream as we were getting ready to come on the air. Thank you very much for your patience. Today is Monday, February 4th, 2019, moments after we got off of our 3 o'clock show. And by the way, if you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm Pete Santilli, host of the Pete Santilli Show that broadcasts live each and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, as well as when news breaks as what you're about to see here. So we have a breaking news report as follows. CNN documents show that CNN was tipped off by not the FBI, by Mueller's office prior to Roger Stone's arrest. This is major breaking news. I have documented proof of this, as well as, and this was provided to me directly by, it was sent to me by Mr. Stone himself. This information has circulated and has made its way to Senator Lindsey Graham's office as part of his investigation as to what happened. And I have it broken down. I have actually the documentation as well as the letter that was provided to Senator Lindsey Graham. And let's break this down as follows. Okay. First of all, we're going to go through the letter from Grant J. Smith, who is the attorney for here. Hold on a second. Let me fix something here. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, as we fired back up again, I just needed to get reset. We shut our lights down, and we actually had to fire everything back up again. But here is the letter. I'm going to read it to you. We're going to break this down, and we're going to get this documented. I need you guys to send this out far and wide. I need you to click the thumbs up button. This is major news, and you're going to see this here momentarily. As of February 4th, today, and the time of this delivery was actually sent. I don't need the exact time this afternoon. I think it was 3 o'clock this afternoon, 3:30 or so. Hold on a second. Let me just verify the exact time. I'm sorry. 2:30 Eastern Time it was sent out. I have confirmation of that. So this letter went via email delivery to the Honorable Lindsey O. Graham, Chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary, as well as the Honorable Doug Collins, the minority member who we, of course, as a commentator, call less than honorable, the minority in the Senate, the Democrat leader, Doug Collins. And it's regarding the chronology of Roger Stone's arrest. Dear Chairman Graham and Ranking Minority Member Collins, regarding the letter sent by your offices to FBI Director Wray following the arrest of Mr. Stone has directed me to provide the detailed chronology of his arrest outlined below. It should be noted that CNN apparently received a copy of Mr. Stone's indictment prior to its filing, and here's the key thing, prior to its unsealing. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see here confirmed, not only did CNN receive a copy of it, it was an unfiled copy, and I'm not a law expert, but they received a copy of the indictment before it was unsealed. And that, I'm pretty sure, is a violation of law. This is substantiated by the metadata, okay? And that is, if when you do a forensic analysis, you have electronic signatures, you're going to see this. But the metadata contained within the copy of the indictment that was sent to me by a reporter contemporaneous with Mr. Stone's arrest. Curiously, the copy sent to me did not contain the PACER, which is the electronic filing system. You get a file stamp copy when you file something with the court. It goes right into PACER. It's got a copy. Once it's unsealed, then it gets recorded in PACER and is available to the public. It would be of great public interest to understand how that occurred. The following are the early morning events of January 25th, 2019. 4:58 a.m., CNN film crew arrives in front of the Stone residence in an SUV with 2 occupants. At 6:04, the FBI arrives at Stone's residence to commence their operation. Contemporaneously, the CNN photojournalists emerge from their vehicle, parked directly across the street from the Stone residence, and begin filming the FBI activities. 6:05, the FBI surrounds the Stone home and prepare to announce themselves and take Mr. Stone into custody. 6:05, the FBI knocks on the front door of the residence. 6:06, Mr. Stone opens the door and is arrested outside the residence. CNN, at the instruction of the FBI, moves their vehicle. 6:11, the attorney, receives a call from CNN political correspondent Sarah Murray informing me that Mr. Stone had been arrested. 6:14, I call Mr. Stone and she confirms, I call Mrs. Stone and she confirms the CNN report. 6:22, I receive a link from CNN correspondent Sarah Murray to the DOJ website where the indictment is posted. It is important to note that the current copy posted there has the PACER filing confirmation in the header of each page indicating a filing date of 1/24. The copy that currently appears on the DOJ website is now different from the PACER docket entry number 1, as the original in PACER was replaced with a scan of the original with the signatures and stamps. At 6:22, I received via text message from Sarah Murray of CNN what appears to be a draft copy of the indictment, as it has no PACER filing notations in the header. Wait till you hear the bombshell information that's going to come here. This makes the document provided to me different from the copy currently on the DOJ website and would appear to be prior in time to the filing and the unsealing. It is unknown how CNN had obtained a copy of a sealed indictment without a PACER filing header. Additionally, the metadata of the document sent to me, also attached, indicates that the author was, check this out, AAW. And those initials are for Mr. Andrew Weissman. And Andrew Weissman is this assistant to special counsel Robert Mueller from Robert Mueller's office. And that it was created and modified 1/23. Now, by the way, I'm making an assumption, needs to be verified, that AAW is Andrew A. Weissman. He just needs to verify that his initials, AAW, are in fact Andrew A. Weissman, and that he created that. Modified on 1/23/19 at 11:04 p.m. using an Acrobat PDF maker for Word, a full day before it was filed with the court under seal. As Mr. Stone has repeatedly stated in the days since his arrest, the FBI agents who took him into custody processed him at the Miami field office and searched his home, where consummate professionals and were merely executing professionals and were merely executing orders provided to them by their chain of command. If you need additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Respectfully submitted, Grant J. Smith, Esquire. And I have, by the way, this is an edited copy only because I removed his email address and his telephone number from the upper right-hand corner. So that was redacted from this copy. Here is the actual indictment document. Normally in PACER, you get a stamp copy across the top. Okay? That means that it's registered in PACER. It's available for the public. If it's a sealed indictment, it's unsealed at that point. But that was not a file stamp copy that was provided to the attorney. Okay? Now, digging deeper. Okay? As a matter of fact, if we could, let me do this just so I can point this out here. Let's actually go into the metadata here and highlight a couple of things. All right. Here is the modified date right here where my red arrow is, 1/23/19. Okay. This means that at 04:45, sorry, on 1/23, that was prior to the arrest. It was modified. It was created on 1/23. The creator tool was PDF Maker for Word. All right. And here's all the signature information electronically on that actual document. They are embedded in PDF documents. Then you go on to see who actually created the document. And here it is right here. The author of the document For Acrobat PDF Maker 19 for Word was author AAW for file number 1439. So 1439 file number PDF. That document provided was created 123, was not a stamped copy, and was actually created 123 by Andrew Weissman and provided to CNN and published on CNN's website. I remember that they did not have a file stamped copy published on the website. Okay. Mr. Grant Smith, attorney at law, has provided this documentation to Lindsey O. Graham. Now, let me also share with you some very important information here pertaining to Mr. Stone's case. And I actually received this information from the author of Arrow to the Heart. You can go to arrowtotheheartbook.com to see who Arrow to the Heart is. Christopher Courtlander is an investigative journalist. He actually provided me with the following information, ladies and gentlemen. The following information pertaining to how serious this matter is now, pertaining to CNN working with the government on an arrest. We now have documented proof, ladies and gentlemen, of Mr. Stone's civil rights being violated by this man right here, Mr. Andrew Weissman. If he, in fact, is the author of the document and did provide that to CNN, he has violated Roger Stone's civil rights. There was a major case here. Here it is. This is what Christopher Courtlander provided, and I passed this on to Mr. Stone's legal team as well. When we found out that CNN may have been tipped off, because when you're recording an arrest like this, first of all, it's a very dangerous situation when you have enough justification to bring that many people. I think it was 29 SWAT officers there for CNN to be there to record that. When they recorded his voice, okay, he's interacting with law enforcement. That's a violation of his civil rights right there. That's a confidential conversation per se, okay? But for CNN to actually accidentally be there to pick up maybe publicly available information in passing, that's one thing, okay? If it's out in the open. But for them to actually be handed information about the indictment, to be tipped off, to be working as a state actor with the U.S. government. CNN has in the past here from the summer of 2001, okay, they settled a lawsuit with some ranchers that under similar circumstances, CNN and the federal government have settled an invasion of privacy lawsuit brought by Montana ranchers. Details of the settlement reached on May 8th, dating back here of this article, May 8th at a court-mandated settlement conference were not released due to the confidentiality clause. The case presented the legal question of whether the media could be liable for accompanying law enforcement officers on otherwise lawful searches of private persons. The suit was filed by Paul and Irma Berger after the Fish and Wildlife agents raided the Bergers' Montana ranch, searching for evidence that they had illegally poisoned endangered eagles and other birds. Prior to the raid, the service granted a CNN camera crew permission to accompany the agents onto the property. During the search, the camera crew filmed the agents as they searched the Bergers' ranch, essentially the equivalent of being there, recording the search/seizure of Roger Stone, his arrest. But during the search, the camera crew filmed the agents as they searched the ranch, recorded a conversation, here's the key thing, between Paul Berger and a Fish and Wildlife agent who wore a hidden microphone. The Bergers sued the Fish and Wildlife Service and CNN and its employees in separate actions, asserting civil rights violations in both lawsuits and several wiretap and other state claims against the network. The district court judge in Billings dismissed that civil rights case against the network in February of 1996, holding apart that the reporters could not be state actors and thus cannot be sued for civil rights violations. The district court also dismissed the other claims against CNN and its employees. Well, guess what? 97, the U.S. Court of Appeals in San Francisco in the Ninth Circuit reversed the dismissal of the civil rights claims and the Bergers' claims of trespass and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Okay? Then what happened? It went all the way to the Supreme Court. Here's the case right here. This is settled law, Mr. Mueller. Just want you to know that, Mr. Weissman. Okay? Doing this, actually, you should do some legal research before you pass on and seek after people like Roger Stone. Your zealous pursuit in your prosecutorial zeal and persecution of those associated with President Donald J. Trump. It's going to get you in a little bit of hot water. Okay? Here we have the United States Supreme Court, Wilson et al. Versus Lane, Deputy United States Marshal et al. Argued March 24th, 1999, decided May 24th, 1999, while executing a warrant to arrest the petitioner's son at their home. Respondents, deputy federal marshals, and local sheriff's deputies invited a newspaper reporter and a photographer to accompany them. The warrant made no mention of such a media ride-along. The officers' early morning entry into the home prompted a confrontation with the petitioners, and a protective sweep revealed that the son was not in the house. They go through the case. This case, actually, I'll provide the links if those of you so choose to do a little bit of legal research and may want to pass that on to Mr. Wiseman so he can take a look at it and start saving up his ducats for when Roger Stone basically sues. It's going to be the Roger Stone News Network, I'm sure, at a certain point. He's going to own them. Mr. Andrew Weissman is known for his sleazy tactics related to the Enron case. Here are 5 facts that you should know about this guy, the assistant prosecutor to Robert Mueller. This is the type of scumbag that you want in a witch hunt against President Trump, because not only does he, with zeal, we'll call it, he presses the envelope. He brings people to jail, and ultimately his cases get overturned. But he inflicts damage upon them. He is one of Robert Mueller's top prosecutors in the Russia investigation. He's a veteran government prosecutor known for his work on the Enron task force and for going after mob figures in New York. Regarded by some as a fierce prosecutor known for his strategies of flipping lower-level defendants on bigger targets, Wiseman is controversial in other circles, both for his campaign donations to who? Barack Obama, Democrats, attending Hillary Clinton's election after party, and with a pooper scooper, obviously, because she did not win at that election party. I'm sure he was cleaning up the after effects of Hillary Clinton's loss on that night. But Tucker Carlson reported that Andrew Weissman sent an email to outgoing acting Attorney General Sally Yates, as you recall, praising her for refusing to enforce the first iteration of Trump's travel ban, according to Fox News. Point being that this scumbag partisan, is now using, coming from the private sector, of course, being given the steering wheel to the U.S. government, sending notification to CNN, and of course, I'm going to have to say this. The FBI being used as some sort of a film prop for the purposes of CNN capturing their catch of their prey, Mr. Roger Stone. I'm going to say this again. We now have documented proof that CNN arrested Roger Stone, and they brought some of their FBI friends along with them. How was that able to be done? Because Mr. Andrew Weissman is using the full force of the government to go after his political adversaries at this point. It is documented. I certainly hope that he can find, I'm sure he needs to speak to the Virginia governor and say that this is not him, that this is the equivalent of a blackface photo in a yearbook, I would say that this is more forensically appropriate, being that it's AAW in the document metadata. There it is, AAW. So Mr. Weissman has some splaining to do. Mr. Mueller's office obviously showing a pattern of abuses in the way they treat the American public in their pursuit of this political persecution. Roger Stone, of course, now being, as what we're seeing, a victim of having his civil rights violated. And I certainly hope that they will pursue CNN and own all of their cameras, their satellite trucks, Anderson Cooper's extra Gimp-Boy paraphernalia. I'm laughing. But here on the Gateway Pundit, exclusive documents show CNN. This is now hitting the wire right now. CNN showing the documents tipped off on CNN was tipped off on Roger Stone's arrest on the 29 FBI armed agents, leaked by the deep state, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Stone's attorney providing evidence of FBI leak ahead of conservative author and activist's arrest just over a week after his televised arrest was carried exclusively by CNN. Attorneys for the longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone have sent a letter to the House and the Senate Judiciary Committee detailing how some reporters may have received an early draft copy of the indictment. Documents have been obtained exclusively by the Gateway Pundit, as well as, I'm going to say, I mean, not to one-up them, we want as many people as possible to see these documents. Everyone needs to get copies of this. I need you to send this out. We will publish this on our website as well. And if you have not seen the arrest, take a look at that. But CNN was the only camera crew on the scene of the FBI raid on Roger Stone's house. It was a horrifying event that Lindsey Graham has said deserves an investigation. This investigation is in full swing. And ladies and gentlemen, we the people have the truth on our side. We have the honor and integrity on our side. We have the truth as it relates to Roger Stone's, I would say, being taken out of context in his words as they slice and dice it for the purposes of pursuing him, as they did me. We know that they take people out of context. They did that with me, kept me in jail for 619 days. And it was basically done by the same sleazy scumbag prosecutor that essentially soils the federal judiciary with their presence. This guy Wiseman coming into the federal government, being given the government steering wheel, and driving our system off the rails for his political pursuit. Absolutely awful. This guy better be held accountable for these actions if, in fact, AAW was the author of that document and it was provided to CNN. That person needs to be brought in. This Sarah, whatever her name is, needs to be brought in for testimony under oath. I would certainly hope that she is. What is her name? Let's find out who the person is. CNN political correspondent's name is Sarah Murray, okay? And she should be squeezed by Rudy Giuliani to give up who gave her the document and in exchange for immunity. How about that? Huh? Put her head in a vice and start squeezing. Get her testimony. Put these deep state bastards under the microscope. Let's hold them accountable, and let's get on with this thing, because it is truly, ladies and gentlemen, as President Trump says it all the time, it is a witch hunt, and now we're starting to see proof of that. So I'm going to conclude this breaking news report. I want you guys to send this report out far and wide if you could. Share it with everyone you can. I hope I've done a pretty good job of laying this out for you. This has been a breaking news report, and be sure to tune in 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and just like we just did, when news breaks. Bye, everybody. We'll see you at 9 p.m. tonight.